A pleasant day, everyone. I am Colleen May Trozona Sigisabal, the reporter of Group 1 from BE-Ed 1A. Before I'll start with my discussion, I would like to introduce to you my fabulous group mates, Ethic Fatima, Gonzalez Maylene, Rica Blanca JN, and Sikuya Angel May. Our topic is all about the physical appearance of the pre-colonial Visayan society. The term physical refers to things that are of nature or of the body, while appearance relates to the way that someone or something looks. In totality, physical appearance is the outward phenotype or looks and features about one's body. So, ang physical appearance mo na ato ang mga defining traits or dagway bahin sa atong lawas. Now, let me show you our comparison matrix table about William Henry Scott's description of barangay, results, annotation, and our comments or recommendations. First description of barangay by Scott is through skin color. Way back in the 16th century, the physical appearance of the Filipino people, specifically their skin colors, is diverse description by the Spaniards. These are medium stature and dark skin, olive luster in Italian, which means olive skin, and color of thick wings. It was also presented in the Scots barangay that the women generally have a lighter skin than men due to their occupation, such as weaving, which keeps them less exposed to the sun. So, physical appearance ng mga Pinoy, specifically ang colors sa mga panis way back in the 16th century, kaya doon ay lain-lain pa nagulagoy sa mga Spaniards, na ay saktura, na ay itom, na ay olive skin, at na ay color sa lutong at wings. Scott also represented na ang mga babae mas hayag ang panis kaysa sa mga laki na silang trabaho such as pagpanahin at pinangangitan sa adlaw. Results annotation for this description is that the southern islands of the Visayas were also called the land of the painted people or pintados in Spanish because the natives had their bodies decorated with fire, somewhat like tattooing. So our comments about the two comparison is that ang pag-focus ni Scott on several aspects under sa physical nga panagway in the Visayas region was too broad kung itanggi sa anotasyon ni Rizal. Scott's writing included detailed explanation of how people could dress in a particular area from head to toe. On the other hand, Rizal did not clearly articulate the traditions and cultures in the Visayas region. Thus, results concentrated on the symbols, meanings, and fortunes conveyed by a particular dress code or appearance. Next in line is we have decorative dentistry. The Visayans called tooth filling or sangka, leveling, and it is done by an expert with a slender stone file who sometimes remove half of the teeth through opening the space between teeth or grinding them to show a tooth point, correcting or obviating natural misalignment and the reduction of those eye teeth so suggestive of fangs or tusks. Next is to color the teeth through chewing a nipay root that made them black, tapol that gave them appearance of polished ebony. The red laka ant eggs were used to color teeth and castle flower, both teeth and fingernails with a deep red color. The pasad is the general term for teeth gold work or gold-pegged incisors, were noted by Figapeta in Limasawa and by Ordonez in Lianga Bay. So from the word decorative and dentistry, decorative, which means serving to make something to look more attractive, and dentistry is the treatment of diseases and other conditions that affect the teeth and gums. So, kani siya nga pamaagi isang pag-modify sa imong mga ngipon para monindot po siya tan-awon. Like, putting some colors or kanang pag-shape niya para mapurma siya sa lain nga form. Results annotation on Morga's description and being tattooed is that it was drawing first in the skin and what has to be tattooed similar to the method as the Japanese used. Our comments about the two comparison is that Rizal is naka-focus sa iyang pride or garbo isip usa ka Filipino rather than a mere citizen only. Ipanigarado gyud niya nga each attributes that a Filipino wear or sa atong gipangsuot symbolizes something as a Filipino. Indeed, si Rizal is a nationalistic and patriotic person. Third is tattooing. The Spaniards called the Visayans pintados because their body were painted. Batok or patik are general term for tattoo in Visayan. A tattoo represents a man of valor after they performed in battle with a fitting courage. Each tattoo serves as their reward. Ang mga Visayans, ginatawag sa mga Spaniards o pintados or painted people, mahingot tungod sa ilang mga tattoo or patik nga naa sa ilang lawas. So, each tattoo kay nag-serve as a reward after nila mo perform in battle nga naay kaisog. So, ang first rank sa tattoo named Tigma. So, it was a youth's first taste of war or sex. Second rank is Halo Lizard. Ang tattoo which means nga ang isa ka laki gina-consider nila nga talawan. So, this kind of tattoo representar og large black and yellow reptile and it is extremely timid. Rizal's annotation to Morga's description of being tattooed is that it is drawing first in the skin and what has to be tattooed kay similar ra sa method nga ginagamit sa mga Hapones. Our comments to these two comparison is Rizal's annotation on Morga are somewhat irrational based on current historical work presented in Scott's Barangay, which is similar to Rizal's annotation. It does not have a different configuration compared sa kang Rizal. Third rank is ang tattoo kay gitamay lang or gipiki o intended para sa mga tao nga wala jud kapatay or kadakop sa ilahang kontra. The higher rank is snake tattoo and having some scars on their arms. So wherein there are tattoo is from ear to chin to eye, which means or serve as the boldest and toughest warriors. Thus, ang mga babae noon kay ginatatuan lang sa isa nila kakamot or both, and the line were exceeding fine and have the appearance of the mask or embroidery. Number 4 is we have skull molding. The mother and midwives are well aware that the skulls of the newborn babies are so soft, and if when they are continuously laid in the same position, their head will become flat on one side. For the reason, they decided to give a skull molded shape for their babies so to prevent any danger. The Visayan skull molding was done with a device called tangad, a comb-like set of thin rods bound to a baby's forehead by bandages fastened at pointed behind. Ang mga Visayans ni practice og skull molding isip sa ka pamaagi sa pagpa-enhance sa ilahang mga kaanyag. According ni William Henry Scott sa iyang libro nga Barangay ni year 1995, in some parts of Sumatra, non-Muslim women used to bind baby's head to produce flat foreheads and noses. Ginabuhat ni nila para dili mapihing o maayo ang bata o naikausaban sa ilahang mga ilong. They bahag rich-colored cloth and quite often with gold stripe among the chiefs. They put in it at a different ways, like moro turbans or headdresses, and also decorate them elaborately to showcase pride. The red potong was worn by those who have killed at least one man, while the stripes equate to a number of men killed. So, nagyutag sa tagsang gipahayag ang ilang gipangsuot nga mga bahag, moro turbans, headdresses, or mga putong. So, among comments about the two comparison is that Rizal articulates the traditions and cultures of the Visayan people, whereas si Scott gi-explain niya og unsa ang mga Visayan mo manamit. Fifth is we have penis pins. Visayan men wear a pin through their penis for the greater stimulation of their partners. The pin was called tugbok and was inserted in childhood. The tugbok was examined by Fegafetta, and he wanted to examine many. In order to dispel his disbelief, penetrated the urinary canal and therefore had a hole to facilitate urination. So na sila ginatawag nga tugbok o sa kapin nga ilang gigamit
sa ilang mga ari. The purpose ni Fegapeta ni is para magpadali ang pagpangihi. However, kani nga kind sa ornaments required og manipulation para sa mga babae alone to insert and could not be withdrawn until the male organ was completely relaxed. This kind of condition the Visayan referred to as kinamakawing, whether in human or canines. In Rizal's annotation, it was not proper for anyone nga magsuot og putong until he has killed at least one man, and to wear certain stripes on it like a crown. Dapat siya makapatay og 7 ka laki. Even now, an Indio can be seen wearing the balindawag in the style of putong means to crown. This manner of wearing the hair and the long attire of Visayans have an analogy to the coiffure and kimono of the Japanese. So our comments for this comparison is that Scott's barangay elucidates what are the Visayan people mostly wear and how they looks like, while Rizal's annotation looks into its representations, internal value, and symbolism to the culture of the Filipinos. So, giklaro ni Scott sa iyang libro nga Barangay kung unsa kasagaran ang suoton sa mga Visayan people o kung unsa ang ilahang mga hitsura. While sa anotasyon ni Rizal, looks into its representation, sulod nga kantidad o simbolismo sa atuang Filipino culture. Lastly is we have circumcision. The circumcision is widespread in Visayas, called as tuli. The uncircumcised were called pisot. This kind of operation was performed informally with no particular ceremony and was thought as to serve as hygienic purpose intended for men.
Ginatuohan jud sa mga Visayans nga ang pagpatuli makareduce og risk sa kasagaran nga sexually transmitted diseases sa mga laki. Rizal's annotation is that ang mga chiefs kuno nagasuot og upper garments, usually of Indian fine gauze according to Cullen, of red color, a shade for which they had nga parihas og pagkalipay nga anaa sa mga Romans. The barbarous tribes in Mindanao still have the same taste.
And so our comments about the two comparison is that ang linear conception of history ni Rizal o giunsa niya paggamit ang arrival sa Spain as a turning point kay klaro jud kaayo. It is the big break in the Philippines history that stunted the pre-Hispanic Philippine society. Colonization, according to Rizal's view of history, led to the loss of both Philippine autonomy and its culture. Moreover, he wanted to point out or prove through reputable work that the people of the Philippines did possess a high level of culture and morality before the arrival of the Spaniards.
Rizal highlighted that Morgo was the proof and the primary origin of history in the Philippines. Also, he wanted to impart that Filipinos before has their own culture and did not need a new religion or civilization from Spain.
Scott's Barangay elucidates what are the Visayan people mostly wear, while Rizal's annotation looks into its representations, internal value, and symbolism to the culture of the Filipinos.